Hello, Virgo. Great to have you here. My name is Shauna. Today's reading is a general love forecast for November 2025. As always, take the messages that resonate and release anything that doesn't. Don't forget to like and subscribe to stay connected with upcoming readings. Let's see what's headed your way, Virgo. A really colorful image. And I saw this little girl. She's sitting on the side of a water fountain. It's a big water fountain behind her. And she's sitting on it. And she's about like 7 or 8 years old. She's blonde hair. She has like two ponytails. She's wearing like an overall, like a jumper, an overall skirt. Not too hot. Um, and I think like she's waiting for her parents to finish whatever they're doing, maybe going to the restroom or whatever, so that they can come and get her. So she's just waiting. She's really enjoying herself, and she's looking at the scenery. And the scenery that I'm seeing is, it looks to me like the girl is either um, at a fair, or like a place like with rides, or like a place like a carnival, because I see people selling balloons walking back and forth. I see people selling cotton candy. I see like a little Ferris wheel and a carousel all the way far back in the background. So anyway, she's sitting there and she sees this guy. He looks like a jester. He looks like a clown. He has a bunch of pretty balloons. He passed her by and she was all like, "Oh, I want a balloon." And then he's kind of like getting further and further and further away from her, and she didn't want to call him because she didn't want to inconvenience him, because then he has to, pull his entire cart back to her. So then she's like, "Okay, I'll wait for the next one." And then the next person comes by, but she glanced very quickly and she was just like, "Oh, they don't have the color of balloon that I want." And then she goes, "I'll wait for the next one." And the next one, all the balloons are turned into, little balloon animals. And she just wanted a regular helium balloon. And so she's kind of like, "When is mom and dad going to get here? Because I'm not really seeing anything." So when I saw this, it's, telling me that whenever there's an opportunity, whenever there's something that you want, you need to go for it. Okay, you need to not hesitate. And you need to also understand that you're not being an inconvenience to anybody. Okay, so I get a lot of that with your reading, where you're very courteous and you don't want people to have to go out of their way for whatever reason to accommodate you. Like you feel like it's a major inconvenience when someone has to change their routine, when someone has to, walk back, when someone has to do something. But what I feel is they're willing to do it. This is a vendor. I mean, you're giving him your money so that he can give you the balloon. So it's an exchange of goods and services. So I feel like it's not he's hauling a cart. It has wheel. It doesn't take a lot of effort. It doesn't take a lot of energy for the balloon vendor to come back to you if that's something that you want, because it's a transaction. It's an economic transaction. Um, and I feel like that's just what it is. A lot of the times you feel like you're being an inconvenience to somebody else, so you don't speak up or you don't go after what you want, and then the opportunity passes you by because all the other subsequent, vendors, they don't have the things that you want exactly. Okay, this image that I saw also points to the concept of timing. Okay, basically what it means, from my understanding of it, is opportunity comes once in a lifetime. It's almost like that. And if you miss it the first time, we're not really sure here if it's going to come around in the exact manner that you'd hope, in the exact description that you hope for. And so be faster on the uptake when it comes to seeing what you want, going after what you want, and making it known what you want. Okay? So that's what I feel here. Like being a little bit more vocal, speak up. And I know it's a little girl sitting on a fountain, and it's just a balloon, and it doesn't, in the greater scheme of things, she could have it or she doesn't need to have it. It's not something that is a necessity. It's not like food and water and shelter. But at the same time, I feel like it's something that you want, and for whatever reason, you Virgos, you have specific things that you like. You're very specific about what you like, and that's why I feel like it's a major deal. It's not just a balloon, it's a specific color, it's a specific type. You don't want it to be turned into animals. You want it to be floating. You want it a specific way, and you know this about yourself as well. And so if something that is exactly perfectly fits your definition of, this is what I want, go for it, and don't be shy about it, and especially don't feel like I'm going to inconvenience the other person, okay? Because they're more than willing to do it for you, okay? So going into this reading, there is a lot of movement, a lot of communication, a lot of really positive energies, okay? So this week is going to be a very dynamic week for you. And I feel like that's why you might need to be a little bit faster when it comes to making decisions, when it comes to just like putting it out there, because opportunities will come and things need to be said in a fast, swift manner. So be less candid, be less shy, be less like, oh, I don't want to put somebody out. Okay, so state what you want, and I'm pretty sure people around you, they're going to be very vocal about what they want. So if you suggest something that the other person might not like, don't worry that they're going to feel coerced or pressured into doing something that they don't want, that you want. Don't worry about that, because I feel like the people around you, they're very vocal. And if that's not something that they want, they're going to suggest something else. So I don't feel like you need to worry about the company that you keep. They're going to be very vocal. First of all, hitting your mark. This is generally associated with career, finances. But what I'm feeling here is hitting the mark when it comes overall um, to like communicating with other people to get what you want. Okay, so what I have here is the sun, usually associated with career, finances, getting a lot of visibility, being well received in the work environment, being really cherished and nurtured. But in this deck, what I'm getting here is I'm feeling more like the Six of Cups energy, reconnecting with old friends, reconnecting with people that you grew up with, reconnecting with like an environment where you feel really in your element, where you feel very carefree, where you feel rejuvenated, okay? So some of you are at a point where you're taking vacation, you're going on breaks, or you are in a new environment and you're just like, everything is brand new. You're looking at things and things seem to have a silver lining or a gleam to it. Everything just feels really, really good, okay? And then we also have as well here the Eight of Wands. This is travel, communication, hitting your mark. And this is pretty much about, planning things, having everything laid out before you execute so that nothing can go wrong. I feel like many of you are working out travel arrangements or travel logistics for either you or a bunch of other people. So, for example, if you're doing this as a part of work, there might be a bunch of people traveling. So if you're in, for example, human resources, you're finalizing the movements for yourself, all the logistics, the accommodations, airfare, rental car, shuttle to the airport, all of those things for a lot of other people. And you might be doing this for you. You might be doing this for another person, you and another person, or you and a bunch of people, or just a bunch of people. So I feel like you're doing something behind the scenes and you're making sure everything is laid out methodically so that nothing can go wrong. And I feel like because you've been kind of obsessive, about this, of course, nothing's going to go wrong when you give a Virgo person like really complicated tasks. I feel like you guys are the most suitable signs to handle really, really complex, in-depth, and just tedious tasks. Okay, so that's what I'm feeling here. There's also sightseeing. I have here the Six of Swords. Okay, so this is travel by waterways, exploring an area, possibly an area with, I'm hearing low water tame, low lying areas, islands, fjords, archipelagos. Going to areas where there are a lot of nooks and crannies. So it's almost like navigating an area with, some parts of it might have a lot of shallow water, other parts of it is there's a lot of deeper water. So exploring some type of a waterway or some type of island or some type of it's like it's almost like skirting between land and water. So I see a lot of travel here, and I see a lot of maneuvering. Okay, swift, quick maneuvering. Um, I I feel some of you are in an area where there might be really unpredictable weather patterns, and I'm seeing a lot of people that are doing this for work. Like you're traveling, you might be a scientist, a researcher. You're studying weather patterns, or you are experiencing very strange, unpredictable weather patterns. So for example, you think it's going to be hot, you dress up, and then all of a sudden it's really cold. Or you're like, oh, the weather said it's sunny, and then all of a sudden it starts drizzling. But it's you have to you have to layer, you have to pack appropriately. And I feel like you're trying to travel light, but there's something here about unpredictable weather patterns that you couldn't even plan for. But I feel like it's going to be okay. I don't see anything treacherous. I don't see anything bad. But I also feel like some of these things might be a little bit outside of your control. Okay, so just go with the flow. Just roll with the punches, and have multiple activities planned out. So I feel like you might be hoping, for a lot of clear weather so that you can go outside, roll in the grass, or, go to the beach or be on a boat. And then things happen that might derail those plans where you're kind of like stuck indoors. So either way, I don't feel like it's a major issue, but I feel have some indoor activities planned out. Okay, what I have here is the Seven of Cups. And this is what I mean. It's the man holding the dreidel, or the little spin top for the child. So I feel like this is more of an indoor type of activity. But either way, lots of possibilities, lots of places to see, places to eat at, things, activities for you to do. And so it's almost like being inundated by choices, being inundated by options. And look at this person. They're very apprehensive. And I feel like in light of all these options with the Seven of Cups, it's like, which ones do I choose? I don't want to make the right choice. I really want to do this, but I don't know if the other person wants to do that. So once again, voice your opinion, and tell people what you want, what you prefer, your order of preferences. So if you're afraid that you're suggesting one thing that the other people don't like, you can arrange it. Like my first preference would be to go on a boat. Second preference is to do a bicycle ride. Third preference is stay indoors and, I don't know, play card games, board games, whatever. Give those options out there if you're afraid that people might not be on board. That way they have several to choose from, and then that way everyone gets what they want. But I don't feel that you need to worry, because I feel like you're very shy about speaking up. I feel like you're shy about, and once again, I'm getting that, you're very particular about what you like. Okay? You're very particular about what you like. And it's so specific. So you want it exactly this way. And you're not really sure if the other person will want it to be that specific. That's what I'm getting. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's really urging you to, be clear, succinct with communication, and especially communicating what you want. What I feel is There's some shifting around here I'm seeing in the work environment. Okay, so some major shift in the work environment. It's almost like decisions are held up until further notice. And I feel like it's funding related. It's funding related. So, for example, if there's this program that you're supposed to be in charge of or you're supposed to be working on is passed through, is what I'm seeing here. So there might be a little bit of a stuck in limbo type of energy where you're waiting around for things to happen. I'm also seeing as well being in an area where there are issues. Sorry about that. It's the fireworks. They're lighting early, I guess, in my neighborhood. Um, it's indicating to me, I hope that you can still hear me over that noise in the background. So I feel like being in an environment where everything is pretty much like new, novel, okay? You should be a little bit experimental. You should try things. And I feel like for some of you, trying different types of foods, trying different types of activities, and trying different types of, just kind of like putting yourself out there so you can experience things. And some of you are just kind of like, I'm not really sure if I want to do that. It sounds good in theory, but it might seem a little bit dangerous, okay? So I see many of you having opportunities for like to experiment, to do a lot of new things, but you're kind of cautious. And then I also see you turning down opportunities as well. Four of Cups, okay, this is like, no, 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 that's not for me. It's not in the realm of possibility ever for me. So you're very, very clear about what you don't want. But I feel like you're also not very clear about what you do want. So I would say be a little bit open-minded and keep yourself, let yourself experience these things before you can cross them off your list, okay? So once again, I am seeing the message with the balloon. And whenever I see balloons, especially those helium balloons, what I'm seeing is, when it comes to like elevation, okay, because they do rise up and they're lighter than air and they do rise up. And what I feel happening here, and I think this is more like a message for, it's like a spiritual message for many of you. So let's just take the example of this little girl holding a helium balloon, okay, something that she's always wanted. And what I feel is like an escalation, a rise in your status, okay, whatever it was that you wanted when you were a child. I almost feel like you wanted something uplifting. You wanted like to feel like a child again. You wanted that sense of wonder, that sense of like the whole world of possibilities are out there for you. That's what it feels like here with the Seven of Cups and the Sun. It's almost like, professionally, it's a clean slate. You can do whatever you want. So I feel some of you are contemplating, very deep in contemplation. Should be the ultimate Virgo card. The depiction of it is so Virgoan. She's got like her toes kind of leaning towards each other. She's kind of shy, kind of pensive, in deep thought, not really sure about certain things. So it's almost like you have a clean slate here when it comes to your career. And I feel almost like many of you are kind of like at the peak of that career. And you're looking at opportunities like what's next, and like that helium balloon, it's like I've already risen to the top. I can't really rise anymore. Sooner I'm going to run out of steam. Sooner or later I will run out of steam. I will run out of helium. So what I need to do right now is possibly contemplate, another career track, or contemplate starting over elsewhere is what I'm sensing. So many of you are experiencing this sort of like inner soul's journey, kind of like contemplating, the sword energy is all thoughts. If I take my boat and go out into the ocean and try to explore other career opportunities. Where am I going to land? Am I going to be able to hit the shore? Am I going to be able to, land somewhere safe? Or am I just going to be adrift again? And so there's a huge element about, this being a week for you to kind of like think about this internal journey. Think about taking risks. Think about starting over. Thinking about as well that, and this is something you need to really tell yourself. You've been through a lot in the past, a lot of turbulence, a lot of troublesome, like sea conditions, and it basically means having a lot of experience when it comes to your life's journey. You've been through a very, very hard past. So this next phase in your life, trust that it's going to be okay because you guys are a meticulous planner. And when you plan things, you execute, it's always going to work out. It might take a little bit of time for you to find or for you to plan every step of the way, but it is going to work out. Okay. Aside from that, relationships looks really, really good for this week. Those of you in relationships, we have the sun here. Look at this. This is just it's really adorable. Two people who are, just like very, very childlike in their interaction with one another, very gentle, very delicate, and very much seeing eye to eye and really, really happy. And some of you might be dealing with, age difference. And I don't like to use that with this card because it